In the heart of Africa, where the sun kisses the land, there's a channel called Jubosmiles, where legends take a stand. From the mighty savannah to the whispering trees.
In the heart of Ikun village, where the market buzzed with activity every dawn, Auntie Morayo was known for her bright smile and plump, shiny fruits. Her stall was always the most colorful, and customers flocked to her, believing they were getting the best produce at the best price. But behind her sweet words and warm laughter was a secret. Auntie Morayo had a trick. She used small stones hidden in her weighing scale to tip the balance in her favor. A little extra weight never hurt anyone, she would mutter to herself, pocketing the extra coins. One fateful morning, as the market filled with chatter, a stranger appeared. He was tall, dressed in a flowing blue robe, and carried a small, intricately carved wooden box. His presence silenced the usual clamor. There was something unusual about him. The stranger stopped at Auntie Morayo's stall. "Good day, madam," he said, his voice calm but commanding. "I have traveled far and I would like to buy your finest fruits." Auntie Morayo's eyes gleamed with opportunity. She quickly gathered her ripest produce, placing them on her rigged scale. "You are lucky today, sir," she said with a grin. "These are the sweetest fruits in the market." The stranger watched her closely but said nothing. When she announced the price, higher than usual, he nodded and opened his wooden box. Inside was a single coin, unusually heavy and glowing faintly. "This should cover it," the man said, placing the coin on the table. As Auntie Morayo reached for the coin, it felt cold and unnaturally weighty. She hesitated for a moment, but greed overtook her caution. She snatched it up, and the stranger walked away without another word. Moments later, something strange happened. The coin began to heat up, glowing brighter. Startled, Auntie Morayo tried to drop it, but it stuck to her hand. Suddenly, the coin multiplied. 2, 3, 10 coins appeared, all glowing and growing heavier. Panic set in as the coins began spilling across her stall, weighing down her produce, smashing fruits and cracking the wood of her table. Customers backed away in shock as Auntie Morayo's once vibrant stall became a chaotic mess. The coins continued to multiply, trapping her behind the store. She struggled to move, but the weight was unbearable. Her cries for help echoed through the market, but no one dared to come closer. As the crowd murmured and whispered, one elderly woman stepped forward, her face grim. "Morayo," she said, "you have cheated us for years with your tricks. Perhaps this is your punishment." The mysterious traveler reappeared, his expression unreadable. "The weight of greed is a heavy burden, isn't it?" he said softly. Auntie Morayo looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. "Please, make it stop," she begged, her voice trembling. The traveler stared at her for a long moment. "Fair trade, madam," he said, turning to leave. "Only fair trade can free you." And with that, he vanished into the crowd, leaving Auntie Morayo trapped amidst the multiplying coins, the weight of her greed crushing her both literally and figuratively. Auntie Morayo struggled under the relentless weight of the multiplying coins. Each coin seemed alive, glowing with an airy light and growing heavier with every passing second. The crowd watched in a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, murmuring amongst themselves. "This is the work of the gods," whispered one man. "She's finally getting what she deserves," muttered another. Desperate, Morayo clawed at the coins, trying to shove them away, but they clung to her like wet mud. Her stall, once the pride of the market, collapsed under the pressure, spilling ruined fruit and broken wood into the dirt. As the coins piled higher, a young boy, barely 12, stepped forward. His name was Kelechi, a poor errand boy known for his honesty. "Mama Murayo," he said, his voice trembling but resolute. "I can help you, but you must tell the truth. Have you been cheating people with your weights?" Murayo glared at him, her pride battling her fear. I, she stammered, but the coins grew heavier, forcing her to her knees. "Speak the truth," the crowd demanded, emboldened by the boy's bravery. Finally, tears streaming down her face, Murayo cried out, "Yes, I cheated you all. I used stones in my scale to make more money." The crowd erupted, some shouting angrily, others shaking their heads in disappointment. But the coins did not stop multiplying. Kelechi frowned. "It is not enough to admit it, Mama Murayo. You must promise to change." Murayo sobbed. "I will change. I swear I will never cheat again. Please make it stop." Suddenly, the air around the market grew cold and the mysterious traveler reappeared, stepping through the crowd like a shadow. His glowing eyes locked onto Murayo as he raised a hand, silencing the murmurs. "You speak of change, but change requires sacrifice," he said. "If you truly mean to repent, then you must prove it." "How?" Murayo begged, her voice hoarse. The traveler reached into his wooden box and pulled out a single ordinary stone. He placed it at her feet. "Use this stone to rebuild your store. For every honest trade you make, it will turn into a coin. Only when you have earned enough to pay back those you have cheated will your burden be lifted." The crowd gasped. Murayo stared at the stone, her hands trembling. But that will take years." "Indeed," the traveler said, his voice cold. "But true change takes time. Will you accept? Or shall the weight of your greed consume you entirely?" Murayo looked at the multiplying coins, then at the crowd, faces filled with anger, pity, and hope. Finally, she nodded. "I accept," she whispered. With a wave of his hand, the traveler made the glowing coins vanish, leaving only the stone and a heap of ruined fruits. Murayo collapsed in relief, her heart pounding. As the traveler disappeared into the crowd, Kelechi helped Murayo to her feet. "The stone is just the beginning," he said gently. "Now you must prove to us and to yourself that you have truly changed." Murayo wiped her tears, clutching the stone tightly. The road ahead was long, but for the first time, she saw the weight of her greed for what it truly was, a burden she had placed on herself. The market was silent as Auntie Murayo stood there, clutching the plain stone in her trembling hands. The crowd slowly dispersed, leaving her to clean the wreckage of her once thriving store. The weight of the traveler's words hung heavy in her heart. For weeks, Murayo worked tirelessly. With her stall in shambles and no money to rebuild, she began trading from a humble mat spread on the dusty ground. She placed her fruits and vegetables on it, measuring them with nothing but her hands. The stone, always beside her, sat like a silent reminder of her promise. At first, no one trusted her. Villagers walked past her mat, some muttering insults, others ignoring her entirely. But Murayo persisted. "Fair trade," she would say loudly to every customer. "Fair trade or nothing at all." One day, Kelechi approached her store, holding a small basket of yams. "Mama Murayo, will you trade me some fruits for these yams?" Murayo smiled. Though her heart ached, she knew the boy was poor and had little to offer. But she measured his yams fairly and handed him some ripe fruits. "Fair trade," she said softly. As soon as Kelechi walked away, the stone glowed faintly and transformed into a shiny golden coin. Murayo gasped, holding it in her hand. The villagers noticed and murmured among themselves. She wasn't lying. Maybe she really has changed. Word spread quickly. Over the next few months, more villagers returned to Murayo's stall, curious to see if she was true to her word. Each honest trade added another golden coin to her collection. Slowly, she used these coins to rebuild her store, this time with honesty and humility. But the real transformation wasn't in her store, it was in her heart. One evening, after a particularly busy day, the mysterious traveler reappeared. He stood silently at her stall, watching her serve her last customer with care. When the market cleared, he approached her. "You have done well, Murayo," he said, his voice softer than before. She looked at him, her eyes filled with gratitude and humility. "I've learned, sir. Fair trade is not just about the skills, it's about trust, respect, and kindness." The traveler smiled and handed her one last golden coin. "This is for the boy who believed in you when no one else did. Give it to him and remember, true wealth comes not from greed, but from the trust and goodwill of your community." Murayo nodded, tears streaming down her face. The traveler vanished once more, leaving her stall bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. The next morning, Murayo found Kelechi and gave him the coin. "This is for your kindness," she said. "You taught me more than I can ever repay." From that day on, Murayo became a symbol of redemption in the market. Her store thrived, not because of tricks or deceit, but because the villagers trusted her. And though she never saw the traveler again, she kept the original stone as a reminder of the lesson that changed her life forever.
With a heart aglow, she dances with the spirits in the moonlit night. Her beauty and grace, a mesmerizing sight. Oh, Jubosmiles, where the stories come alive with warriors and spirits. In the night they thrive, from the village to the mountains.